Constable Jenkins, would you tell the court how you came to be involved in this case, please?
Yes, sir. On February the 10th last, I was on duty at the Main Road Police Station, Fulchester. At approximately 1100 hours, a woman entered the station showing signs of great distress. At first she was hysterical and I was unable to understand the reason for her condition for several minutes. I led her into a back room where she recovered control to the extent that she was able to give me her name, Mrs. Olivia Bascom, and also to tell me that her baby had been taken from outside the AWS supermarket while she'd been inside shopping. She was able to give me details describing the baby and the pram, which had also disappeared.
And what happened then, officer?
Sergeant Cooper initiated an immediate street search.
What did you do?
I was ordered to remain with Mrs. Bascom in the back room, sir.
Carry on, please.
Well, Mrs. Bascom was still shaking and crying a great deal, and I did my best to comfort her.
Did she say anything to you at this time? My lord, Mrs. Bascom will be appearing as a witness.
Yes, I have no objection. If defence counsel hasn't?
None, my lord. My friend has indicated the substance of this evidence.
Did Mrs. Bascom say anything to you while you remained with her, officer?
Well, for about 20 minutes, nothing of any importance, sir. She kept repeating various things over and over about wishing she hadn't left Karen alone, saying that she'd read about this sort of thing happening to other people, but never thinking it would happen to herself. Mrs. Bascom was obviously very badly shocked, sir.
Did you take any steps to help her condition?
Yes, sir. Sergeant Cooper sent out a message to contact the police doctor.
Go on, please.
Well, I stayed with her until the doctor came. But before he arrived, Mrs. Bascom seemed to get control of herself.
Completely?
Well, she stopped crying and began to speak in a more normal tone of voice. I was then able to ask her one or two questions.
What questions?
Well, I asked if she knew of anyone who might have taken her baby for one reason or another.
And what did she say to that?
She mentioned the
my
name
lord, in order to save the court's time, I am prepared to waive the hearsay rule in respect of simple verbal exchanges between this officer and Mrs. Bascom, but I do feel we're entering into deeper waters here.
Yes, you're right, Mr. Harvester. Just answer yes or no, officer. Did Mrs. Bascom reply to your question?
Yes, my lord.
I'm obliged, my lord. Acting on that reply, officer, what did you do?
I informed Sergeant Cooper, who ordered me to go to 64 Penrose Villas, Fulchester.
And what did you find at this address?
I found the defendant, Maureen Sellers, with the missing child and pram, sir.
What was the defendant doing when you called?
She was bathing the baby.
And who opened the door to you?
The defendant's foster brother, Michael Brain.
And you entered and went through to the bathroom?
Yes, sir. The defendant was leaning over the bathtub talking to the child as she washed her.
And can you recall what she was saying to the child?
Well, it was mostly soothing baby talk, sir. But she did keep referring to the child as Amanda.
What is the full name of Mrs. Bascom's daughter?
Karen Margaret, sir.
What did you do?
Well, I said I'd reason to believe that the baby belonged to Mrs. Bascom and that she, the defendant, had taken her away in the pram without permission.
Did she reply?
Yes, sir. She told me to close the bloody door, that there was a hell of a draft coming in, and that I could give the baby pneumonia.
Anything else?
She said she was looking after Karen for Mrs. Bascom. She said it wasn't safe for babies to be left outside shops unattended. She said she was merely helping Mrs. Bascom, like she had done tons of times before.
And where was Mr. Brain while you were with the defendant?
He stood behind me. He said, "What the hell is all this about, Maureen?" And then to me, "What are you trying to make out? Are you saying she took the kid without permission?"
And what did you do then, officer?
Well, I said that I intended to return the baby to her mother and asked the defendant to accompany me to the Main Road Police Station. She did so, and there later she was cautioned and charged with the kidnapping of Karen Bascom.
And did the defendant make any reply when you told her this?
She said, "This is ridiculous. She shouldn't have been left outside that shop on her own." And when charged, she said, "Get her to tell you I always help out with Karen. She lets me bath her and everything. I didn't kidnap her."
And did the defendant say anything at all about permission having been given to her by Mrs. Bascom to let her take away the baby from the supermarket?
No, sir.
Thank you. Would you remain there, please?
You found the defendant, Miss Sellers, at 64 Penrose Villas. That is correct, isn't it, Officer Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
Which is to be expected since Miss Sellers lives at that address, does she not?
That is correct.
The fact was not made clear when you were answering my learned friend. So you discovered Miss Sellers at her own home with the baby?
Yes.
Hardly the actions of a kidnapper hoping to escape detection?
It's not for me to say, sir.
Can we come to the verbals?
Yes.
Miss Sellers told you she was looking after the baby for Mrs. Bascom.
Yes.
But according to you, she did not say that she'd been given permission.
She said nothing about that, sir.
But she did say that she was acting as she had done tons of times before.
She said helping the mother, as she had done tons of times before.
Looking after the child.
All she said was helping.
The officer's been quite clear on this point, Mr. Harvesty. I feel you're trying to make her imply something else from her words.
With your lordship's permission, I'm trying to remove the ambiguity apparent in this officer's account of Miss Sellers' words.
I fail to see any ambiguity.
Well, my lord, it's my client's case that she was given an open invitation by Mrs. Bascom to help bath, feed and take her baby Karen for the occasional walk, and that on this occasion she was doing just that. She was merely taking up the offer contained in that general invitation. Officer Jenkins' account of the replies given by Miss Sellers does not reflect this.
Perhaps, Mr. Harvesty, because it is not there to reflect.
To quote the officer, my lord, she, Miss Sellers that is, said she was merely helping Mrs. Bascom like she had done tons of times before.
Yes. Yes, that too is my note of the evidence, Mr. Harvesty. But I've not yet noted anything from the officer about an open invitation, which was described by the defendant as having been granted from the mother.
I'm obliged, my lord.
Yes, well, let's get on.
Officer Jenkins, you go on to say that Miss Sellers said, "This is ridiculous. She, the baby, should not have been left outside that shop on her own."
That is so.
She said a whole lot more too, didn't she?
Well, she was very excited and she was talking all the time. I only took down what I considered relevant.
Relevant to your case?
Do you really mean to suggest ill faith on the part of this witness, Mr. Harvesty?
No, my lord, I withdraw that comment. Officer, did my client also say that she was looking after Karen so as to watch over her while her mother was out of sight, shopping?
I have no record of that, sir.
When you called at her house, Miss Sellers was bathing the baby, yes?
Yes.
Didn't she offer a reason? Didn't she tell you that the child had become sick and she'd taken her home just to clean her up?
Well, again, I have no record of her saying any such thing, sir.
Miss Sellers did accompany you readily to the station?
Yes. I took her to the police car waiting outside with the baby, and we drove to the station without any trouble.
Did she make any comment concerning Mrs. Bascom at this time? I mean, over and above that which we've already covered.
Well, she did say something about wondering what all the fuss was about.
But did she say that she was sorry if she'd caused any anxiety to Mrs. Bascom, or words to this effect?
Not to my knowledge. She seemed...
Seemed what, officer?
Well, she seemed to think as if it was an awful lot of bother over nothing, sir.
Well, I don't obviously wish to make light of the mother's very real terror at finding her baby missing, but as far as my client is concerned, that surely is just how it appeared. She had looked after Karen, fearing for her safety, left alone outside that shop. An hour later, she's charged with kidnapping her. Yes, I would say that she was quite correct to assume there'd been a lot of fuss over nothing.
When you entered the defendant's house to find her bathing the child, officer, did you detect signs of vomit on its clothes?
No, sir. But I didn't examine...
Thank you. I
the
have
foot.
no further re-examination, my lord.
Officer, your point is well made that you cannot get everything down into your notebook when someone speaks quickly at length.
Yes, my lord.
But are you satisfied that you got everything down that you considered important to this matter? You understand that the defendant is charged with a very serious offence.
Oh, I understand that, yes, my lord. If she'd made any comment to say that she'd taken Karen away under some kind of impression that she'd permission to do so, then I would certainly have made a note of it.
But she made no remark with any such meaning?
No, my lord. None.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the testament in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Now, you are Olivia Jane Bascom,
Yes,
and you live at number 11 St. Peter's Terrace, Fulchester.
yes.
Mrs. Bascom, how long have you known the defendant, Maureen Sellers?
About 2 years.
And how did you first come to meet her?
I used to help out at the Bridge Street Youth Club. Maureen became a member about 2 years ago.
How many members belong to this youth club?
Well, I don't know about now, but then I suppose about 60, 70.
And did you give Maureen any particular attention more than to the others?
Yes.
Would you tell the court, please, why you did?
Well, she was a strange girl. I felt sorry for her.
In what way strange?
Well, it's hard to say, really.
Please try, Mrs. Bascom. You said you felt sorry for her. Why was this?
Well, she was moody. I suppose that's the right word for it. She seemed very shy one minute, and the next she'd be, well, quite aggressive. But I suppose in general shyness was her trouble, though.
And you helped her to settle in, introduced her to the other members.
Yes.
Did you have any children at the time?
Yes, Robert, he was 5.
And did Maureen meet your family?
Once or twice to begin with.
Did anything occur to increase the number of times that she met them?
Well, yes.
Would you tell the court, please, briefly, what that was?
Well, after about a year after she joined the club, she became pregnant. She wouldn't say who the father was. She seemed to withdraw into her shell. I tried to spend as much time as possible with her. We, that's my husband and I, tried to get her to snap out of it.
It being what, Mrs. Bascom?
Oh, a very deep depression, my lord.
Yes, I see.
What was her attitude towards her unborn child?
Oh, she loved it. I mean, whenever she did talk about it, it was always along the lines how much she wanted to be a mother. She got depressed because, well, young people can be cruel, and there were some girls at the club who were unkind to her, sarcastic, you know.
Now, can we come to the events which tragically terminated her pregnancy?
She tried to kill herself.
Yes, how?
She took an overdose of sleeping tablets
And where was this?
at our house.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bascom, the jury didn't quite catch that.
At our house. Maureen often used to stay the night with us. She didn't get on very well with her foster parents, and since her trouble, things were bad at home. She came round one afternoon last September. I could see she was very depressed. I mean, really bad, much worse than usual. She said she wanted Amanda.
Amanda?
Oh, she always called her unborn child Amanda. She said she wanted a girl, and Amanda was her favourite name. She said if she acted as if it was a girl, it might turn out to be one.
Yes, go on, please. Maureen came round to your house one afternoon last September.
Well, I could see that she was very tired. I mean, her face was all drawn, kind of chalky white. She really looked awful. I had just had Karen at the time, and I'd only been up a couple of days. And I said I thought that the best thing for her was to get some rest. I said,
Take your time, Mrs. Bascom.
well, I really did mean what I said. I thought she ought to get some sleep. Well, the other thing was that I didn't feel up to talking to her much. I mean, I had Karen to feed.
Mrs. Bascom, no one is implying that you should either blame or make excuses for yourself. What did you do?
Well, she said that she hadn't been sleeping well and that she was worried to death and depressed. And so I gave her a couple of sleeping tablets that the doctor had given me some time before. I put her to bed in the spare room, but I forgot about the sleeping tablets. I left them with her. About 9 o'clock, I went in to see if she was all right. The bottle of tablets was empty and I couldn't wake her.
But she recovered in hospital.
Yes, but she lost her child.
Now, Mrs. Bascom, I know it's painful for you to give evidence against Maureen, particularly after your close and sympathetic relationship with her during the time that she was in trouble. Nevertheless, I must ask you a few more questions. Now, the facts of this case are that on February the 10th last, you left your baby Karen in her pram outside the AWS supermarket in Fulchester to do some shopping. And when you came out, Karen and the pram were missing. A short while later, Karen was found with Maureen at her home.
Yes.
These facts are not in dispute.
No, my lord.
However, she claims you gave her permission to take Karen for a walk. Is that so?
No, it isn't.
She claims you gave her an open invitation to look after Karen at any time she felt like it, and that on this particular occasion, on February the 10th, while you were shopping inside the supermarket, she was simply taking up this previously offered invitation. Is that true?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it isn't.
Did you at any time tell her she could take Karen for walks or indeed perform any kind of activity when you were not present?
No, never.
Now, when you emerged from the supermarket to find that Karen had gone, what did you do?
Well, I'm afraid to say that I panicked. I can't really remember much at all until I was talking to a policewoman in the police station. I mean, I don't recall how I got there. I really
Can you
can't remember
recall
much
any
at all.
questions put to you by the policewoman, Constable Jenkins?
Yes, I remember she asked me if I could think of anyone who could possibly have taken Karen.
And what did you say?
Well, at first I said no, but then
Yes, but then?
I remembered Maureen.
What made you think that Maureen might have taken her?
My lord, this line of questioning is potentially inadmissible.
But it may clarify actions which are relevant to the matter, Mr. Harvester. I will allow it.
Oh, thank you, my lord. Why did you think of Maureen, Mrs. Bascom?
Well, since she lost her baby, I thought I detected, I don't know, a kind of resentment in her manner. Not all the time. I thought that she was jealous.
Jealous of what?
Well, this isn't easy for me to say.
You have the full sympathy of the court, Mrs. Bascom, but we must get to the truth of this sad affair. Now, of what was Maureen jealous?
Of my children, of my family, of my home. Karen was only a little older than her child would have been.
Did Maureen help you with Karen at all?
Yes, I thought it would be good for her.
What kind of help did she give?
Oh, she used to help bath her, dress her, simple things like that. She seemed happy doing it, so I encouraged her to take an interest in Karen.
But you said you never let Maureen take care of Karen unless you were present.
Yes, that's right.
Was this because you already detected an element of jealousy in her attitude towards you?
No, not at all. I mean, Maureen was only 17. I would never give her any of my children to look after by herself. Neither would I give them to anyone else of that age.
And on February the 10th, you did not give the defendant permission to take away Karen from the supermarket?
No.
Nor did you at any time before indicate to her that she could take your child away in the manner she did?
That's right.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bascom, you have an obvious and admirable sympathy for the defendant.
Well, I bear no malice towards her. I mean, I would give anything not to go through this.
Yes, I'm sure you would. Maureen says, as you know, that she was under the impression that you told her she could look after Karen whenever she liked.
I know, but it isn't true.
You've said that you let Maureen help you with Karen because you thought it would be good for her.
Yes.
But, you mean help her to get over the tragic loss of her own child?
Yes.
How far did this helping go?
How do you mean?
Well, for instance, did you let her hold the baby? Did she do anything other than just watch you tend to her?
Well, of course, I tried to increase the amount of involvement she had with Karen. I mean, obviously, she just didn't sit there and watch me. That would have done no good at all.
Mrs. Bascom, do you have any qualifications in the field of social work?
No.
Or psychiatry?
No.
I'm not for one moment suggesting that you were wrong in adopting this policy towards Maureen of, as you put it, increasing her involvement with Karen. But I do suggest that your lack of expert knowledge in this very delicate subject could have caused harm rather than good.
I fail to see how.
Oh, surely not.
Well, I do. What harm could it have done?
Why, Mrs. Bascom, the very harm which you yourself have mentioned.
That I mentioned.
The prosecution, supported by you, has offered the motive of jealousy for Maureen's taking the baby away from the supermarket. Well, jealousy is harmful, is it not, Mrs. Bascom? It might be said that it was you that made her jealous. Unwittingly, of course, but while trying to help her.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Harvesty, but you appear to be pleading the case for the prosecution.
No, my lord. I'm simply trying to establish that Mrs. Bascom's well-intentioned gestures towards Maureen created an atmosphere of ambiguity. That her lack of expert knowledge, her amateur psychiatry, caused her to give Maureen impressions which perhaps she didn't intend.
I did not engage in amateur psychiatry or anything like it, and I resent your saying I did.
Now, calm yourself, Mrs. Bascom. Your point is well made, Mr. Harvesty. I see no reason to go further along this path. It's far too speculative for my liking.
As your lordship pleases. Mrs. Bascom, you said you never entrusted either of your children to young people for any period of time.
That is true.
Do you go out in the evenings?
No, not often.
Occasionally?
Now and again, yes.
What arrangements do you make about your children?
Do
Do you employ babysitters?
Yes.
Do you always go to a babysitting agency?
No.
Where do you go then?
I didn't think about babysitting when
Where
I
do
said...
you go, Mrs. Bascom, to find babysitters?
Well, there's a young girl next door, Jenny, the daughter.
Yes, how old is she?
Well, actually 14, but we're never out for more than 3 hours at a
Do
time.
you always employ this girl next door?
Almost always,
Almost?
yes. Well, very occasionally she isn't available. But the only reason I use her is that if the children woke up or anything went wrong, she has strict instructions to call her parents in. That is the only reason I use her.
And when she hasn't been available? Mrs. Bascom, did Maureen Sellers, the defendant, ever perform babysitting services for you? Did you ever leave your children alone with Maureen during the evening?
Yes, once when Jenny was away on holiday.
Now, Mrs. Bascom, you previously told us that you never let Maureen look after Karen unless you were present. Now you tell us that you left the child completely in Maureen's care for a whole evening. Are you sure that it wasn't for more than just one evening?
Yes, I am perfectly sure. It was one evening a few months ago. It completely slipped my memory.
It slipped your memory?
Yes, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I completely overlooked that evening when Maureen came round to babysit. But what I wanted to say was that she never took Karen out alone during the day. I apologise, my lord. I can only say it wasn't a lie. It was an honest mistake.
Yes, I'm sure it was, Mrs. Bascom. I should like to explore the possibility that you made another honest mistake, in that, even unwittingly perhaps, you once told Maureen that she was welcome to take Karen off for a stroll in the pram whenever she wished to do so. Now, I do want you to be quite certain that it hasn't slipped your memory, like the incident of the babysitting.
I swear I have never given Maureen the slightest impression that she could do that.
You sound very sure.
I am. I wouldn't say I was if I wasn't. No, I'm very fond of Maureen, and it has given me a great deal of pain to give evidence against her. But I must say this. If she was concerned about Karen's safety when she saw her sleeping outside the supermarket, why on earth didn't she wait with her until I came out? Or at least come and find me and tell me what she wanted to do? I mean, why? Just to take her off like that. She must have known I wouldn't know where she was. She must have known I would have been frantic. Even if I had given her the idea that she could take Karen for walks whenever she wanted, surely she didn't think she could do it without telling me.
Maureen will say that she hadn't meant to delay her return with the baby to the shop, but that the baby had become sick, and she'd taken her home to clean her up. Did you not notice signs of vomit on Karen's clothes when she was returned?
No.
Did you examine Karen closely?
Well, quite frankly, no. I was so glad to see her back safe and sound. No, I didn't.
Oh, so there could have been stains there, although you didn't notice them.
Oh, I suppose so.
Mrs. Bascom, is it right that Maureen didn't stay overnight at your house anymore after some time in December, shortly before Christmas?
Yes.
Did her overnight visiting stop for any particular reason?
No, I don't think so.
Did you, for instance, have a row with her?
Maureen and I have never had a row as such.
Was there not some argument over whether she could spend Christmas with you and your family?
Well, there was a kind of discussion. I said I thought she ought to spend Christmas with her family, and she did, that was all.
I suggest that the issue did provoke a row.
No.
Isn't it true that by this time you had become concerned about Maureen's relationship with your child?
Her relationship? I don't know what you mean.
Mrs. Bascom, weren't you becoming just a little jealous of your baby's obvious attachment to Maureen?
Of course not. How can you be jealous of a 3-month-old baby?
I might ask you that, Mrs. Bascom. And you're quite sure that there was no feeling of jealousy behind your row with Maureen last December?
It was not a row, it was a discussion.
And there was no jealousy at all?
No, none at all.
Well, we shall hear evidence from Maureen that she believes there was.
I never wanted all this fuss in the first place. I just don't know why she's saying these things. She took the baby. She's got to make up some story to explain it, I suppose.
The case of the Queen against Sellers will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Did Maureen Sellers kidnap Karen Bascom? While the child's mother, Mrs. Olivia Bascom, was shopping, Karen was left sleeping in a pram by the shop door. When she came out, pram and baby were gone. An hour later, Karen was found safe and unharmed with Maureen Sellers at her home. Miss Sellers claims that Mrs. Bascom, with whom she was friendly, had given her a standing invitation to help look after baby Karen and take her for walks in the pram. But Mrs. Bascom says she gave no invitation of any kind. As a result, Maureen Sellers appears before Fulchester Crown Court on a charge of kidnapping.
I shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Dr. Richard Watmore, a practicing psychiatrist, and you live at number 3 Hamilton Terrace, Fulchester?
Yes, that's right.
Are you acquainted with the defendant, Maureen Sellers?
Yes.
In what way?
She was a patient of mine.
Have you been subpoenaed?
Yes, my lord. I would not give evidence otherwise.
For how long was the defendant a patient, Doctor?
From July to December of last year.
And would you explain how she came to be a patient, please?
She was brought to me by Mr. Bascom.
The husband of Mrs. Bascom, who was a friend of the defendant.
Yes.
And what was the complaint, Doctor?
Miss Sellers was 4 months pregnant. She'd been having a series of severe depressions. Mr. Bascom asked me if I would see her. He and I have been friends for some time. I said I would be glad to, if Miss Sellers was willing.
Was she?
She didn't object. She was suspicious at first, but then later on she became more cooperative.
And over this period, July to December, how often did you see her?
Between July and September, perhaps once a fortnight, whenever she wanted to, whenever she fell into a depression. But then later on, after she attempted suicide, I saw her much more frequently.
How frequently?
Once a week, sometimes twice.
I see. So would it be correct to say then, Doctor, that particularly after Miss Sellers tried to kill herself and lost her unborn child, you maintained a close contact with her?
Yes, very close.
And do you feel confident that you can make a full and detailed analysis of the defendant's mental condition after September last year?
Psychiatry is often a matter of opinion, but the opinion is always based on knowledge, acquired from training over a long period of time.
Yes, Doctor, but accepting that you are only expressing your own view, can you tell the court how you assessed Miss Sellers' reactions?
After she lost her child, she became morose, at times melancholic. She then appeared to recover, principally, in my view, due to the patience and help provided by Mr. and Mrs. Bascom. Mrs. Bascom gave birth to a daughter shortly before Miss Sellers' suicide attempt, and she actively encouraged Miss Sellers to take an interest in the child.
Did you agree with Mrs. Bascom's efforts in this direction?
Yes, I saw Miss Sellers improve more quickly than I would have expected. At first, that is.
Yes, would you explain, please, what you mean by at first?
I knew Maureen was a moody girl, very much prone to highs and lows, moments of elation followed by periods of depression. Up until December, I saw her regularly. She grew animated when she talked of Karen, the Bascom's new baby. She was glad that Mrs. Bascom allowed her to bathe her, give her a bottle, generally help around the place.
Did she ever tell you that she was given exclusive charge of Karen?
Yes, she didn't. But I had expressed a doubt to Mrs. Bascom on the wisdom of allowing Miss Sellers to take complete charge. I said too much responsibility could have an adverse effect on someone slowly getting over a personal tragedy.
And what then occurred during your consultations with Maureen during December, Doctor?
About the middle of the month, Maureen came to my consulting rooms as usual, but this time she had changed. I put it down to a mood, one of her low periods, but her manner was different.
In what way?
She immediately began by making several double-edged remarks about the Bascoms, especially Mrs. Bascom.
Can you give some indication of them?
They weren't particularly hostile, but they marked a definite change in her manner. I recall once she referred to Mrs. Bascom as all safe and snug in her little nest. She also said how unfair it was that some people could have dozens of children, whereas others could not.
In your view, Doctor, what motive would you say was behind remarks of this kind?
I was obliged to conclude Miss Sellers had developed a jealousy of Mrs. Bascom.
About what, specifically?
Over Karen.
And did you discuss this with Miss Sellers?
One cannot simply tell a patient in so many words to stop being jealous. Certainly not someone in such a precarious condition as Maureen.
Well, quite. But did you, so to speak, get your message across to her?
By degrees. I told her there was no reason why she should not have children of her own later, as many as she liked. I said she was getting valuable experience on how to care for babies through Mrs. Bascom.
And how did she react?
Not well, I'm afraid. I saw her twice more, and she continued to make sniping references to the cozy atmosphere at the Bascoms, and also to say she thought Mrs. Bascom was not looking after Karen properly.
Yes, Doctor. Now, to summarize, would you say that the defendant developed a jealousy of Mrs. Bascom created principally by Karen Bascom?
Regretfully, yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Doctor, did you learn anything of Maureen's early life?
Yes.
Would you tell the court, then, briefly about her upbringing?
My lord, I fail to see how a resume of the defendant's life is pertinent to the matter before the court.
Mr. Harvester?
My lord, my client has been described as being jealous of Mrs. Bascom. I am entitled to cross-examine to relate that suggestion and to establish that when she took the child, she did not do so out of jealousy, but believed she was acting quite properly.
Yes, very well. I would ask you to be as brief as you can, Doctor.
Miss Sellers was given over to foster parents when she was 3 and has not seen her real mother and father, I think, since she was 5 or 6. Her foster home was comfortable, but for some years the other children, 3 of them, never properly accepted Maureen and frequently made her life awkward by teasing, sometimes ignoring her. She once told me she knew how a baby cuckoo felt in a strange nest.
Miss Sellers seems to deal quite often in ornithological terms.
Yes, that is true.
You think that the security of the nest, so to speak, was possibly something which Maureen envied?
Yes, I think that is fair to say.
Go on, please, Doctor.
There isn't much to go on about.
Well, did the treatment she received in her foster home as she grew up mark her character in any way, affect her attitude towards life, say?
In that her depressions before losing her child were brought about often by other people being harsh or rude to her, yes.
Would you say that Maureen perhaps misinterpreted the words of others? Took them to heart more than they were meant to be, that is? Perhaps even took harmless remarks for personal insults?
It is impossible to generalize, of course.
Yes, of course, Doctor. But?
Yes, I think that sometimes happened.
Coming now to the notion that Maureen was moved by a feeling of jealousy for Mrs. Bascom and took her baby as some kind of manifestation of this
Well, my lord, Dr. Watmore is a psychiatrist of considerable reputation and experience. I'm sure that he, like I, would resent anyone saying that he dealt in notions.
I will rephrase the question, my lord. I don't want to offend anyone. Doctor, your view that Maureen was jealous.
Yes.
You supported this view by quoting some double-edged comments which you say she made during early December last year about her saying that Mrs. Bascom was all snug and cosy in her little nest and so on.
Yes.
Did Maureen tell you of a row which she had with Mrs. Bascom at this time?
A row? I can't recall anything in particular.
That concerned Christmas? Maureen will say that she'd asked Mrs. Bascom if she might spend Christmas with them, and Mrs. Bascom had refused, in spite of the fact that Mr. Bascom had approved.
I learned nothing about this.
This rejection might well explain Maureen's change of attitude towards Mrs. Bascom, might it not, Doctor?
It is possible, yes.
All snug and cosy in her little nest? It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If it follows this rejection of her wish to spend Christmas with the Bascoms, doesn't it?
It could, yes.
And such an explanation for Maureen's different manner would have absolutely nothing to do with jealousy towards Mrs. Bascom's baby.
I repeat, Miss Sellers gave me no details of any row with Mrs. Bascom of this sort.
Doctor, after having decided that Maureen was acting out of jealousy, did you discuss your findings with Mrs. Bascom?
Why, yes.
Did she agree?
I explained why I had come to this conclusion, and yes, she said it sounded right, that it made sense. I advised her to be very careful with Maureen and try not to arouse an unwarranted but nevertheless real antipathy in the girl.
Yes, but my point, Doctor, is that Mrs. Bascom had not discussed with you the possibility of jealousy before you had made your own assessment. That is, you were the first to mention the likelihood that jealousy existed between Mrs. Bascom and Maureen.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Watmore, I would like to put this to you. In your opinion, when Miss Sellers took the child away from its mother during this shopping trip, could she possibly not have been aware of what she was doing?
I think it very unlikely, my lord. During the period Miss Sellers was coming to see me, I never detected any defect in her memory or any likelihood she might behave without awareness of what she was doing.
I'm most grateful to your lordship for clarifying this point, but as your lordship knows, the defense case is that the defendant is perfectly well mentally and believes that she was acting quite correctly.
Yes, I do know it. Thank you, Mr. Harvester. My interest in this matter was purely personal.
My lord?
Do you wish to re-examine Mr. Logan?
No, thank you, my lord.
You may stand down then, Dr. Watmore.
That is the case for the prosecution, my lord.
I call the defendant, Maureen Sellers. You are Maureen Sellers of 64 Penrose Villas, Fulchester?
Yes.
With whom do you live at this address, Miss Sellers?
My foster parents, Mr. and Mrs. Brain.
Does anyone else live there at present?
Well, I've got 2 foster brothers and a sister, but only one lives there now, Michael. The others have left, got married and that.
Yes, I see. Miss Sellers, you know Mrs. Bascom, don't you?
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to retrace ground which we've already covered in this court, but is it true that you met Mrs. Bascom 2 years ago at the youth club in Bridge Street?
That's right. She used to help her husband run things.
Mrs. Bascom has described how you became friends, and she says that you were shy when you joined, and she tried to make you feel more at home. Do you agree with that?
Pretty well. That's more or less how it was.
Coming now to the distressing events of last September. You were carrying a child, but you lost it, didn't you, through a miscarriage?
Yes.
Shortly after this, Mrs. Bascom gave birth to her second child, Karen.
Yes.
Were you still friendly with the Bascoms at this time?
Yes, very. They've been very kind to me.
Or would you tell the court in what way they'd been kind?
Well, my foster parents hadn't been too thrilled, to say the least, about me getting pregnant. And especially after I took all those sleeping pills. Anyway, Olivia, Mrs. Bascom, let me stay at her house even when she was laid up with Karen.
Were you out of bed by the time Karen was born?
Yes, I've been up 2 weeks or so.
Did you help around the house at all?
course
That is
I-
while Mrs. Bascom was still indisposed.
Of course I did. Olivia was always saying it wasn't necessary, but, well, she'd taken me in. The least I could do was clean the place up a bit and cook dinner for her while she was still in bed after Karen came.
It was your idea, say, to do the housekeeping chores.
Yes, I insisted.
Did you also help with the new baby?
Yes.
In what ways?
Well, Olivia didn't breastfeed Karen, so I helped make up the bottles. She showed me how, and I started by, sterilising everything, then warming the milk. Then she would show me how to hold the baby to feed her, and sometimes I gave her the bottle myself. Then there was bathing her. I'd do that now and again.
Would it be true to say, Miss Sellers, that as well as making you feel useful about the house, Mrs. Bascom was also helping you to get over the tragic loss of your own child?
Yes, definitely.
Did she succeed?
Yes, well, I didn't have time to brood over it. That was all I needed, looking back, just a chance to keep my mind on other things.
As the weeks went by, were you given other opportunities to look after Karen?
Oh, yes.
What, for instance?
I used to babysit now and then.
In the evenings?
I only did it in the evenings a few times. Mostly Olivia got in the girl from next door, Jenny Clements, because she said her parents would know what to do if either the kids were sick or anything.
Yeah.
Jenny was to nip next door and get her mother.
Yes, I see. You babysat at other times, then?
During the day.
During the day? When, for instance?
Well, sometimes Olivia wanted to nip out to the shops. Usually Karen would be asleep, but I'd just stay with the baby to keep an eye on her till Olivia got back.
Did you ever take Karen out in her pram for a walk?
Yes,
With Mrs. Bascom or alone?
both.
You sometimes took Karen out in her pram alone.
Yes.
Mrs. Bascom has said that you at no time took Karen out in her pram by yourself.
Well, she's wrong, isn't she?
Why should she deny this took place?
Oh, my lord, the defendant is being asked for conjecture.
Yes, you know better than that, Mr. Harvester.
My lord. Where did you go on these walks alone with the pram?
The park or the recreation ground round the corner from Olivia's house, not far.
Now then, Miss Sellers, let's come to the point in dispute between you and Mrs. Bascom. Did she ever give you an open invitation to take Karen for walks?
Yes.
You have used these words, open invitation, have you not, to describe the arrangement?
Yes.
Would you tell the court exactly what you mean by open invitation?
When I was taking Karen up to the park quite a bit in her pram, Olivia said to me, "Maureen, Karen seems to like you. You can see how she's taken to you." Then she said, "You can take her for walks any time you feel like it."
Are those her exact words? Can you remember?
Her exact words.
On February the 10th last, you saw Karen in her pram outside the AWS supermarket, did you not?
Yes.
Now then, Maureen, in your own words, would you tell the court exactly what you did next?
I saw Karen asleep in her pram. There were lots of people about walking past and that, and there were hundreds of people inside the shop. I couldn't see Olivia, so I remembered what she told me about taking Karen for a walk any time I felt like it, so I took the brake off the pram and pushed it up the road.
It has been said by Mrs. Bascom that it's very strange that you didn't tell her what you were doing, that you didn't go into the shop to look for her.
Well, I was worried about the baby being left alone in the street. The supermarket, AWS, is huge. It could have taken me hours to find Olivia. So I just wheeled the pram round so she'd be safe while her mother was shopping.
How far did you intend to take the baby?
Well, I was going to wheel it round a few streets and come back to the shop.
But that is not what happened.
No.
Why didn't you stick to your original plan?
Well, I'd gone about 100 yards and Karen woke up. So I propped her up on the cushion so she could see out the pram like she always wants. And suddenly she was sick. It went all over her clothes and hands. Anyway, she started to cry and I was only a little way from home.
From your home?
Yes, so I decided to nip in and clean her up. She hates being wet or dirty, and I knew she'd cry and cry until I got her cleaned up. So I just nipped in the house.
Who was at home?
Just Michael, my foster brother.
Yeah, what did you do then?
Well, I started by trying to wipe the sick off with a flannel, but in the end I gave her a proper bath.
Maureen, how long did all this take?
I suppose about over half an hour.
Did you do anything at all to try and tell Mrs. Bascom where the baby was?
Yes, I asked Michael to go out and find Olivia and tell her what had happened and that Karen was at my place.
And did he?
Yes, he went out, but he came back and said he couldn't find her. About 5 minutes after that, the police came and accused me of kidnapping Karen. Well, it was ridiculous.
Maureen, have you ever before looked after Karen in her pram while her mother had gone shopping?
A few times, yes. We often wheeled the pram round together. Now and then I'd stay with it while Olivia nipped in to buy something.
Bearing in mind that Mrs. Bascom had said to you, take Karen off for a walk whenever you feel like it, did you believe you were doing anything unacceptable when you took Karen away from the supermarket on February the 10th?
No, all that happened was that I got held up when Karen was sick. That was the whole trouble.
You've heard Mrs. Bascom say that she thought you took the baby maliciously, that you did it because you were jealous of the baby.
I was never jealous of Karen. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
And Dr. Watmore has said that your behaviour towards the end of last December showed a certain jealousy towards Mrs. Bascom.
He's a friend of theirs, isn't he?
Maureen, did you refer to Mrs. Bascom in or around December of last year as being all snug and cosy in her little nest?
Yes.
Would you speak up, please, Maureen?
I did say something like that.
Out of jealousy?
No, of course not. Oh, it was stupid. I can see that now. It all came out because, well, we'd had a row.
You and Mrs. Bascom?
Yes.
Over what?
I wanted to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go home. I got sort of settled. Anyhow, George, Mr. Bascom, had said it was all right. And then a couple of days later, Olivia said she thought I ought to go back to my family, my foster family. Well, I got upset. I thought she didn't want me around anymore. I thought she might be jealous of me. You see, Karen liked me and always wanted me to pick her up.
So you said these things to Dr. Watmore out of pique?
Yes.
And also those things about Mrs. Bascom not looking after Karen properly?
Yes, I'm not proud of that. It was daft, I know. I didn't mean it.
One final point then, Maureen. The police officer who found you at home with Karen says that you referred to the child as Amanda. Why was that?
There was nothing to that, not really. Quite honestly, I don't like the name Karen very much. I used to call her Amanda when Olivia wasn't there. I like Amanda, that's all.
Thank you, Maureen. Would you remain there, please?
Miss Sellers, you talk of an open invitation to take the child away, and I quote you, whenever you felt like it.
Olivia said that.
Now, do you honestly expect the court to believe that even had Mrs. Bascom said those words to you, which she denies, but even if she had said this, that this meant that you had permission to whisk the baby away at any time without telling its mother you were going to do so? I mean, are you seriously suggesting that this was the sense of such an invitation?
I'm not saying that.
Oh, but you are.
Look, I was walking Karen around, waiting for Olivia to come out of the supermarket when she got sick.
Yes, you say you took the baby home, asked your foster brother to tell Mrs. Bascom where she was, and then proceeded to give the baby a bath because she'd vomited on her clothes and hands.
That's right.
Why didn't you mention the fact that the baby had been sick to the woman police officer who came round to your house and found you with Karen?
I did.
Well, the officer has no recollection of your saying any such thing.
Well, I did.
Are you calling the officer a liar?
Look, Suddenly in come the police and accused me of snatching Karen. How do you think I felt? I said a lot of things. I was confused. But I know I said why I was bathing Karen. Ask Michael, he'll tell you.
Did you also tell the officer of this so-called open invitation to take Karen off from her mother whenever you felt like it?
Yes.
Well, once again, the officer has no record of it.
Well, again, I did say it. I admit I was talking 19 to the dozen. I was terrified. I couldn't believe I was being arrested. It was like a nightmare.
I put it to you, Miss Sellers, that your jealousy of Mrs. Bascom had grown to such an extent that you wanted to hurt her as much as possible.
No.
And that the best way for you to do that, in your view, was to abduct her child.
I could never do that.
Well, you admit criticising Mrs. Bascom's handling of the child, leaving her unattended outside a busy shopping centre.
I've said those things I said I didn't mean. We'd had an argument.
Yes, you said the baby seemed to like you. Perhaps you inferred that, as a 17-year-old girl with no further experience of looking after children, you were qualified to criticise Mrs. Bascom, the mother of two.
Why don't you listen? I've said I didn't mean those things I said about her.
I am listening, Miss Sellers, but the reasons you're giving now for your innocence were not given at the time of your arrest.
I told the police I did.
I must put it to you that your story of having an open invitation to take Karen Bascom off on your own is a lie.
No.
It's a fabrication specially made up by you at your arrest and before this trial here. Now, Mrs. Bascom has said she gave out no such open invitation of any kind, either explicit or implicit. You've heard her say that it has given her great pain to give evidence here against you. Now, are you calling her a liar too? Did you think of the suffering you were going to cause her when you wheeled Karen away?
I didn't think
Did you think of her feelings when she suddenly discovered her baby had disappeared? Did you think of the agony she'd go through trying to get her back?
I thought she'd know where she was.
You mean that she'd assume that it was you who'd taken her?
Yes.
And all she had to do was to sit tight and wait and you'd bring her back in time?
Yes.
When did you intend taking Karen back, Miss Sellers?
As soon as I'd finished bathing her, of course.
And how long would that have been?
Quarter, half an hour.
Or an hour, or two, or more. I put it to you, Miss Sellers, that you never intended returning that baby. I put it to you that you decided it was yours and no one else was going to have a part of it. You wanted that baby for your own. Wasn't that what you wanted?
No, it wasn't like that at all. I loved Karen. I wanted what was best for her.
And what was best for her was that you should have her because you'd quarrelled with Mrs. Bascom and you hated her.
No. I wouldn't do a thing like that. I was fond of Olivia. I wouldn't do that to her. I know what it's like to lose a baby.
Yes, indeed, Miss Sellers, you do. And you took Karen to make up for that loss.
The case of the Queen against Sellers will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Maureen Sellers is accused of kidnapping 3-month-old Karen Bascom, taking her away in her pram as she lay asleep outside a shop where the baby's mother, Mrs. Olivia Bascom, was shopping. Fulchester Crown Court has heard a psychiatrist say he'd come to the conclusion that Maureen, having miscarried a child of her own, was jealous of Mrs. Bascom, a person who'd befriended her and helped her get over the tragedy of her unborn baby.
Did it ever occur to you, Maureen, when you wheeled the pram away that you might be kidnapping the baby?
No, of course not.
Did you ever, then or before, have any thoughts of kidnapping it from its mother?
No.
If you wanted to kidnap a baby, where would you take it?
I don't know.
Well, would you take it on a train, say, out of the district? Or would you take it to your home, just round the corner?
Well, I wouldn't take it home, certainly. Not if I was going to pretend it was mine.
Why not?
Well, everybody'd know it wasn't, wouldn't they?
Yes, I suppose they would.
I'd take it.
Yes?
I'd take it away to a place in the country where it'd grow up happy and nobody'd know whose it was.
No further questions, my lord.
You will return to the dock, Miss Sellers.
I call Mrs. Hilda Day.
Hilda Day, please.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the testament in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Mrs. Hilda Day of 10 Norton Road, Fulchester?
Yes.
What is your profession?
I'm a probation officer.
Do you know the defendant, Maureen Sellers?
I do, yes.
Would you explain how you come to know her?
A few years ago, Maureen ran away from home, twice. Her foster parents sought the help of the courts on the second occasion, and Maureen was placed on probation. She came under my supervision.
How long ago was that?
Oh, she was 13, 4 years.
And how long did the probation order last?
3 years.
So your supervision in this capacity ended, what, a year ago?
Yes. Nevertheless, I continued to visit Maureen on an informal, friendly basis.
You and she were friends?
Yes. Well, she asked when the probation order ended if I would continue to see her.
And you did?
As much as my other duties allowed, yes. I just used to call in.
Do you know Mrs. Bascom?
I do.
How do you come to know her?
During the second year of probation, Maureen joined a youth club run by Mr. Bascom. His wife used to help out there from time to time. I understood she took an interest in Maureen, helped her to settle in, overcome her shyness.
As a person professionally concerned in Maureen's welfare, did you approve of that?
Yes, at first.
How do you mean, Mrs. Day?
Maureen settled down at the youth club quite well. She certainly showed no signs of wanting to run away from home again, and for that I was pleased and grateful to anyone who helped with her improvement.
Yeah.
Then, last year, she became pregnant. Now, Mrs. Bascom may have acted with good intentions, but as we all know, the road to hell is paved with those.
Mrs. Day, please give your evidence without that kind of embellishment.
I beg your pardon, my lord.
Did you change your mind about Mrs. Bascom's contribution to Maureen's improvement last year?
Maureen became pregnant, but wasn't given the opportunity to marry the father. Indeed, she neither told me nor I think anyone else his identity. She then, while staying at the Bascoms, took an overdose of sleeping pills left lying around by Mrs. Bascom.
No, my lord.
Yes, I know, Mr. Logan. Mrs. Day, as a probation officer, you know full well the sort of procedure expected from a witness in court. I'm ordering you to refrain from that kind of suggestion. Continue.
As a result of which she miscarried.
Yes.
Did Maureen tell you of her subsequent dealings with Mrs. Bascom's newly born daughter, Karen?
Yes, she did. As I said, I had no official duties towards her, as the probation order had long since terminated. However, I made a point of calling in to see her whenever I could after she lost the baby. Apparently, she was given considerable responsibility for Karen by Mrs. Bascom.
Mrs. Day, I would ask you to answer in a simple and direct way. Did you approve of the way Mrs. Bascom allowed Maureen to tend to her child?
Most decidedly not.
Why not?
I saw nothing wrong in allowing her to help with the baby if this help were minor and ordinary, uncomplicated. But Maureen told me some horrifying details.
Horrifying?
I use the word advisedly. Yes, to me they were horrifying.
What were these details?
I gather that Mrs. Bascom spoke of increasing Maureen's involvement with her child. Well, really, it appeared she was setting herself up as a psychiatric authority. I've been in social work for 15 years, and in that time I've seen many instances where people have assumed the role of a qualified social worker or psychiatrist when they had no justification whatsoever to do so, and in every case harm has come to the subject.
My lord, if Mrs. Day is assuming the role of psychiatrist, perhaps to counter the evidence given earlier by Dr. Watmore, all well and good. But I was given to understand that she is a probation officer and was appearing for the defence in a less technical role than that of a mind specialist.
Mr. Harvesty, is your purpose to ask Mrs. Day to counter the psychiatric evidence already given to the court?
No, not entirely, my lord, although I do feel that her words are both relevant and important, although her qualifications are somewhat different to those of the doctor.
Well, can we come to the nub of your questions?
My lord, you have said that Maureen informed you of her activities with the baby Karen.
Yes.
When was this? When did she tell you?
Oh, last November, December, around that time, and early this year.
During that time, that is before February of this year, did she tell you of any remark made by Mrs. Bascom concerning her confidence in Maureen's ability to look after Karen.
Yes, she did.
Would you tell the court what that was?
She said in January sometime that Mrs. Bascom had complimented her on the way she got on with Karen and had told her that any time she felt like taking her out for a walk in the pram, she could. Any time she liked was her phrase.
Just to recapitulate then, she told you this before she was arrested on February the 10th?
Yes, as I said, it was in January.
Thank you. Would you stay there, please?
You dislike Mrs. Bascom, don't you, Mrs. Day?
I hardly know her.
Well, you dislike what you consider to be her usurpation of your role.
That is nonsense.
Well, you've said so in as many words.
Look, every probation officer is overworked. Every probation officer has more than enough people to look after. I welcome anyone who can possibly support our work. My role, as you put it, was to supervise Maureen during a period of probation. Well, Mrs. Bascom certainly did not usurp that. I have said that I was pleased she took an interest in the girl during the second year of probation. But when that ended and Maureen got into a mess, I began to seriously question Mrs. Bascom's attitude towards her. And at that time, I had no role in the matter at all.
By her attitude, you mean her attempts to get Miss Sellers to forget her recent sorrows?
I mean the way she performed an amateur welfare service on the girl.
Yes, you are, of course, deeply concerned as to what becomes of Miss Sellers, aren't you?
Oh, of course I am.
You wouldn't wish her to see her get into trouble again after having apparently made such a great improvement since she was placed on probation.
She is a good girl and she has great potential. I didn't want that to be jeopardized by people employing amateur psychiatry.
A professional psychiatrist has told the court he thoroughly approved of Mrs. Bascom's methods.
Oh, I believe Mr. Bascom took her to see a psychiatrist friend of theirs a few times. I, on the other hand, have known her for 4 years.
Mrs. Day, do you consider Mrs. Bascom has done any harm to the defendant?
Thankfully, no, it appears not.
Then why are you so upset?
I disapprove in principle of unqualified meddlers.
But you say Miss Sellers did not appear to have suffered at the hands of Mrs. Bascom's meddling, as you put it. Now, supposing she had, or let me phrase it like this, what harm might she have done by urging the defendant to become more and more involved in the care of her own child, Karen?
I cannot speculate, but there are many ways harm can be done.
Yes, you've said in your long experience of social work, you've witnessed several examples where people like Mrs. Bascom have done damage. Can you think of a case parallel to this one?
Not exactly parallel, no.
Or similar?
I have seen neurotic adolescent girls become more neurotic by the actions of young people under the impression they were doing good.
Perhaps even, Mrs. Day, to the extent of arousing violent jealousy?
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do, Mrs. Day. You've come here to give evidence on behalf of the defendant. You like her. You feel responsible as her ex-probation officer for how she will fare now that she's left your supervision. Now, you hear that since she lost her own baby, someone, Mrs. Bascom, is letting her have more and more say in the care of her own newly born child. The phrase, increasing her involvement in the child, is used by Mrs. Bascom, and you shudder. Another amateur psychiatrist, you say to yourself, someone who by her meddling could harm Miss Sellers, not help her. Now, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Day, you have underlined the point I have been making. You have implied that the defendant may well not have benefited from the well-meaning intentions of Mrs. Bascom. She might well have become jealous of the very person who sought to help her, and so she took away her baby, the very object of her jealousy.
I repeat, Maureen told me long before she was arrested on this charge that Mrs. Bascom told her she could take the baby off for walks whenever she felt like it.
Without checking with her first?
I am merely repeating what she told me.
What she told you, yes. I have no more questions, thank you.
Mr. Brain, you are Maureen's foster brother.
Yes.
And you live at the same address, 64 Penrose Villas, yes?
That's right.
Who else lives there at present?
Just my mother and father. My brother and sister are married and living away.
Are you acquainted with Mrs. Bascom?
Yes.
You've met her?
Yes.
Did Maureen ever talk to you about her relationship with Mrs. Bascom?
Yes, quite a bit.
Coming to the events of last September and subsequently, did Maureen discuss these in much detail with you?
You mean about a miscarriage and that?
Yes, and her relations with the Bascoms and their newly born baby?
Yes.
Would you describe, in your own words, what Maureen told you? That is, how she got on with them?
She got on very well. She said Mrs. Bascom used to let her look after the baby a lot. She said it was doing her good, what with all that had happened.
Did she go into any details about the way she was looking after Karen?
Yes, she said she took it for walks, bathed it, fed it, just about everything.
Did she talk about babysitting?
Yes.
Did she say anything as to whether she looked after Karen alone, or did she say that Mrs. Bascom was always present?
She said Mrs. Bascom had told her she could take Karen off any time she felt like it.
Take her off?
For walks and that.
Those were the words that Maureen used?
Yes, she said the baby liked her, and that Mrs. Bascom was pleased she got on so well with it that she had an open invitation to look after it.
An open invitation? Maureen's words again?
Yes.
She said she was given an open invitation to look after the baby.
Yes.
Well, that seems a good deal more sweeping than merely an invitation to take the child for a walk.
What were Maureen's words to you exactly? Can you recall?
Well, I suppose take the baby for walks.
Suppose isn't enough. Can you recall her exact words?
Yes, sir. Take the baby off for walks.
Coming to February the 10th last, you were at home during the morning, were you not?
Yes, I do shift work.
Again, in your own words, would you describe what happened around 11 or 11:30 that morning?
Well, I was just getting up. It was just before 11. I had to be at work at 2. My mother was out shopping and my father was at work. There was no one else in the house. Then Maureen came in. I heard the key turn in the lock and I went down. She had the baby with her, Karen. She said she'd been walking it around in the pram and it got sick.
Did you notice any signs of the baby having been sick?
Yeah, it was all over her.
Go on, please.
Well, she started to clean the baby up. Then she said it was no good. She'd have to bath it. She went into the bathroom and she started to run the water. Oh, then she said, could I do her a favour? Could I go to the supermarket and find Mrs. Bascom, tell her what had happened and that Karen was with her at our house?
And you went?
Yes, but I couldn't find her. I went into the place and looked all around, but she wasn't there.
What did you do then?
Well, I went back home and told Maureen I couldn't find Mrs. Bascom.
Did she say anything?
She said something about, oh, never mind, I'll take Karen back in 5 minutes when I've finished.
When she'd finished bathing her?
Yes.
Yes. What happened then?
Well, the police came, this policewoman.
And?
Well, she started to say that Maureen had pinched the baby and that Mrs. Bascom had reported her to the police. Well, it was fantastic.
Did you say anything at this time?
Of course I did.
What did you say?
I told the policewoman that Maureen had permission to take the baby.
You are sure that you said exactly that?
Positive.
Well, the officer has stated that your words were... What are you trying to make out? Are you saying she took the kid without permission?
I said she had permission.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Brain, let us go straight to the nub of your evidence. You've told the court that when the defendant came home with Mrs. Bascom's baby, she told you to go and find the mother to let her know where the child was.
That's right.
And you did so.
Yes.
You went up the road to the supermarket. This is your local supermarket, I suppose?
Well, it's near us, yes.
You and your neighbours use it a lot.
Now and then, why?
Well, in your search for Mrs. Bascom, did you go into the shop?
Well, of course I did.
And you searched thoroughly?
Yes.
Asking people you knew that you met if they'd seen her?
Well, mostly I went up and down the aisles looking for her.
But surely your local supermarket, you must have asked someone known both to you and Mrs. Bascom, perhaps one of the assistants, if they'd seen her?
Well, yes.
Yes. Well then, Mr. Brain, where are they now? Why is there not just one person willing to corroborate your story? Or is there? Perhaps I've been misinformed. The most significant part of your evidence on behalf of the defendant, your foster sister, is that she made an immediate and determined effort to trace Karen's mother, to let her know where Karen was. But there is, unhappily, no one, not one person, who is prepared to say that they saw you during the period that you say you searched thoroughly but vainly for Mrs. Bascom in the supermarket.
Well, I can't remember who I talked to, only I know I did.
Well, this case has received a certain amount of publicity, Mr. Brain, yet no one has come forward to say, yes, they were approached by you that morning.
I'm telling the truth.
The next question I have to ask is perhaps even more significant, Mr. Brain. You've said you knew Mrs. Bascom.
Yes?
You must know, therefore, where she lives.
Well, I've never been there.
Well, that wasn't my question, Mr. Brain. Now, your foster sister spent a good deal of her time there last year. Are you now telling us that you don't know where Mrs. Bascom lives?
I know.
Well, having failed to find Mrs. Bascom in the supermarket, did it not occur to you to try her home?
Look, what happened? Well, you know the panic and all that. Afterwards, well, it makes me look pretty stupid. Not going to her home, not trying harder. But at the time, there didn't seem any real sort of rush. I mean, I knew Maureen had permission to take the baby. So when I couldn't find Mrs. Bascom, I just thought, oh, well, so what? She know Maureen's got the kid. That's just how it was. Didn't seem to me to be all that urgent.
Do you like your foster sister?
Yes.
Have you always liked her?
Yes.
You aren't sure?
I've always liked her.
Even when you were children, did you?
Yes. Well, all kids fight, they always do.
Yes, Maureen ran away from your home twice.
Well, there was a time, yes, she was a bit upset. But that's all over now.
So it appears from your spirited defence of her. However, I must put it to you, Mr. Brain, that you are here in court today to make up for your past cruelty to her.
Helping her is one thing, committing perjury is another.
Now, Mr. Brain, no one is accusing you of perjury, but your story of having made a thorough search for Mrs. Bascom after Miss Sellers took her baby is not corroborated by anyone, anybody at all. And it's inconceivable that in a crowded local supermarket that you asked no one, spoke to no one in your quest for the baby's mother. Your eagerness to come to the defence of your foster sister is admirable if misplaced, based as it is not on the corroborated truth, but on a sense of guilt for the way you treated her in the past when you were children. I have no further questions, thank you.
You may stand down, Mr. Brain.
And that completes the case for the defence, my lord.
Mr. Logan.
Members of the jury, the case for the prosecution against the defendant Maureen Sellers can be simply stated. On February the 10th last, she took a 3-month-old baby from its mother without the mother's knowledge or consent. However, Miss Sellers maintains that she did not kidnap baby Karen. She claims that she was merely taking up an open invitation from Mrs. Bascom to take the child off whenever she felt like it. But members of the jury, even if we assume that the mother, Mrs. Bascom, actually had issued such an invitation, it is surely preposterous for the defendant to claim that she saw nothing wrong in taking the baby off without first informing the mother. Now, Mrs. Bascom strongly denies ever giving an open invitation of any kind, even implying one to the defendant. She never allowed her to take the baby off for a walk whenever she felt like it. Now, what mother would? And I may add, I think Mrs. Bascom has amply demonstrated her fondness for Maureen Sellers and her willingness to help her recover from a most distressing period in her life. Yet Miss Sellers repaid her kindness with malice and cruelty. She was jealous of Mrs. Bascom, jealous of her happiness, security, family, but jealous above all of Karen Bascom, whom she took away and referred to as Amanda, the name she was going to give to the baby she had lost. She took that baby in order to make it her own. And I must ask you to find her guilty as charged.
Mr. Harvester.
My lord. Members of the jury, I would not deny or underestimate the suffering and the anguish which Mrs. Bascom must have felt when she found her baby missing on February the 10th. But I ask you to consider also all the suffering and anxiety which the defendant, Maureen Sellers, has been put through ever since she was found after 1 hour with the baby in her own home. I must ask you not to prolong these months of suffering, for there's no reason to do so. Miss Sellers has testified, and you have heard the other witnesses confirm, that she believed that she had been given an open invitation to take the baby Karen for walks. Had not Mrs. Bascom led her to believe that her care for and interest in the child were welcome at any time? Miss Sellers certainly believed that she had that permission. And that should be enough, members of the jury, for you to find her not guilty of this appalling and misconceived charge. You have heard how Miss Sellers, after a difficult early life and an early pregnancy and miscarriage, was on her way back to a happy and fulfilled life. She acknowledges that it was Mrs. Bascom's kindness to her which contributed to her improvement. Can you really believe that from some motive of jealousy she would repay that kindness by kidnapping Karen Bascom? If she'd wanted to kidnap a child, surely she would not have chosen one whose parents would immediately suspect her. And if she had consciously decided to kidnap Karen Bascom, surely she would not have been so stupid enough to take it to her own home where she would be certain of being found. No, on any grounds of logic. This charge which has brought her here will just not stick, and I ask you to find her not guilty and end her nightmare here.
Now, members of the jury, I'm here to help you with the law. Now, you must not be swayed by counsel for the defence's eloquent pleas for sympathy. nor by Mrs. Bascom's evident reluctance that this prosecution should be brought. You have to decide whether or not Miss Sellers is guilty of kidnapping. Now, a person who takes a child away without the consent of the child's parent or guardian is guilty of kidnapping unless that person honestly believed that he or she was acting with consent. Now, consent need not always be given verbally. It can be implied from conduct without words. In this case, therefore, before you could convict, you would have to be satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt, firstly, that Mrs. Bascom did not consent to the child being taken away, and secondly, that the defendant understood that there was no such consent. Now, Mrs. Bascom has said that she gave no consent, and Miss Sellers has described an open invitation. Now, do you believe Miss Sellers or Mrs. Bascom? If you believe Miss Sellers, do you believe her when she says she honestly thought that that meant that she need not inform Mrs. Bascom when she took the child away? Now, these questions are for you alone to decide. You will now retire and consider your verdict.
All stand. All stand. The defendant will remain standing. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Maureen Sellers, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Maureen Sellers, you have been found not guilty of the charge of kidnapping. You are free to go.
Court will rise.
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.